Welcome back to Piece of Chaos. Well, just like that, 2 weeks fly by. Man. I wish I could say I was doing cool things, keeping me busy, but honestly, it's been a bunch of administrative, tactical bullshit, which is just how life is sometimes. Sometimes you just gotta deal with life. And that's what I've been doing. As always, thank you for listening. I noticed it picked up for some weird reason. I don't know what it was or why, but thank you. I have new listeners in, let's see if I get the town right, Benanto, Japan, and Petersham, which is on the east coast of Australia. So, welcome. And, yeah, it's been, like I said, kind of a boring March coming in like a lion, but not in a fun way. Oddly, it's been raining here in California, like, every day, which is really odd. I know that since it's a desert, it generally could use the rain, and we're in a drought situation for a long time, but I gotta be honest, I'm kind of sick of the rain. Mostly because it makes, and this is not a good reason to hate the rain. Maybe it is a good reason to hate the rain. I've gotten used to doing everything in the rain. I mean, I lived on the East Coast for the first 30 years of my life, so rain, I'm familiar with it. That's why I left, to get away from it, quite frankly. But the things I used to not like about the rain don't bother me as much anymore. I try to run every day, rain or shine. And I've actually started to not kind of actually like running in the rain. It's kind of interesting. If you have the right clothes, I mean, you're going to get wet, but it's not a hindrance, like I'm not going to be like, oh, it's raining, so I can't run today. But what I don't like is it makes everything muddy, and I have a new puppy, and that makes her paws muddy, and she does not like to go out in the rain, which makes her rambunctious and crazy. So, yeah, I mean, these are not major problems, obviously, but the rain causes the mud, which causes muddy puppy paws everywhere, which means you're doing a lot of extra laundry and a lot of extra scrubbing of the couch, and it's just a mess. And I'm kind of sick of that. I would rather just be able to, take a walk with the dog and not worry about that. And she likes to dig, and she's just a muddy, messy puppy. So she's very cute, but yeah, it's been interesting. I've been since my dog Laverne died last July, I've been noticing, and maybe it's kind of like when you first buy a car, you notice that car everywhere all of a sudden. Some kind of confirmation bias, or must be some psychological reason for that. But I've just been noticing a lot of people's stories in social media about dogs and their dogs, and dogs passing away and getting new dogs, and just I constantly think about the role that a dog plays in your life. And I missed not having a dog, and I do love having a dog, but I don't really love having a puppy. Like, they're a pain in the neck. My buddy Jason always said, "Fuck puppies. They're a pain in the ass. You don't want a puppy. Get like a used dog." And our dog wasn't a puppy. We didn't get her at 12 weeks. We rescued her. We rescued her from a place called, well, it's hard. We didn't rescue her. She wasn't in danger. She was in a foster home, but it is a dog rescue called Ace of Hearts that we adopted her through. And but she was a little older, but she's a year old now-ish. So anyway, puppies are hard. They're a lot of work. It takes a lot of time to train them. Consistency with training dogs is very difficult. This one I'm having to teach her how to walk, like take walks. And I forgot about that. I forgot that they, just like to pull on the leash and do whatever they want to do and sniff and all that. And you have to train them to walk by your side and, just keep walking. And it's just one of those things you forget after, 8 or 10 years how hard that is. And it's kind of just like, like babies, I don't really remember the maintenance part of babies. Now I have kids, but, and when you're going through it, it's extremely difficult. And you're like, this is never going to end. This is going to last forever. And it doesn't. It doesn't. It doesn't last forever. And pretty soon, before you know it, you got a great dog, you got a great kid. The diapers are gone. The muddy paws are gone. The chewed shoes stop. And, it's just, life as an adult is so different than I thought it would be. And it's long, right? So that's why, I don't feel much different. I don't feel like I've aged that much. I'm sure I have. But, my kids grew, and they're older now and they're people now. I've had dogs that have been puppies and lived a life and are now gone in the span of a human life. And it just makes time have this really strange quality about it. And the fact that we, in our lifetimes, everybody here now, has lived through this crazy pandemic, makes it even more vivid, because it was terrible, but it's over, kind of, right? So in hindsight, if you would have told me that 3 years would go by, almost, I wouldn't have believed you. I wouldn't have believed it. I wouldn't have believed we could make it. I wouldn't have believed any of it, honestly. I mean, it's been insane, right? So life is just very strange, and I think about it probably too much. But I guess it's good to focus on life that way and analyze it, right? What's the quote? About an unexamined life, right? So you got to examine it. You got to take it out and look at it sometimes. But I really wanted to come in and chat with. I got to get to that too. The guest situation. I really want to get to this every week. I think of things to say, I write them down. But the weeks fly by, and the next thing I know, they're gone. And hopefully they've had some significant event, some novelty, some fun. But they don't always. Sometimes they just go by, and I realize I missed the week, I head into Friday hopeful, and the next thing I know, it's late Sunday night, and I'm watching The Last of Us. Oh, speaking of The Last of Us, wow. Just ended. Spoiler alert if you haven't caught up. What a great show. I mean, how does HBO consistently do it? And, here's my excuse, right? I haven't had time to do the podcast, but I've been watching The Last of Us. It is such good television, such good storytelling, and I'm just in awe of some of the stuff that's come out in recent years. I like the shorter series. Honestly, I like that they end them after, a few episodes, almost or after a few seasons, taking that like BBC model of doing only 2 or 3 seasons, not making things go on forever, because I really enjoyed The Walking Dead at first, but it just got ridiculous. I mean, I think they're on their 10th season or something like that. It's just too much. I won't say the same about Seinfeld. I liked Seinfeld, and that was 9 seasons, but it's different. Like this type of drama, story, futuristic, this one in particular is kind of you're not allowed to call them zombies, but it's a zombie apocalypse type story. If you haven't seen it, based on a video game, which I think is really cool. Props to the video game makers to write such good story into a game. But I never played the game, but I certainly have liked the show quite a bit. The season finale was good, but the episode just before the season finale was spectacular. I won't be surprised if there's some Emmy nominations there. Just a really powerful story, really engaging story, and the episodes, they're an hour long, but they fly by, and when they're over, you're like, I don't want it to be over. That's how good it is. So, if you haven't seen The Last of Us, I highly, highly recommend checking that out. I don't remember how I got on that, but so life just has this crazy quality of flying by. Oh yeah, I was saying, I head into Friday thinking I'll get all these things done, and including recording a podcast, and it just doesn't happen. But that's okay. You guys are cool. You're with me. I'm not going to leave you. I'm going to keep coming back as much as I can while still getting enough sleep. So I've been promising a few guests for a while, and honestly, it just keeps falling through. And I scheduling is just rough. People have had to cancel. People have gotten sick. And some people are just also dealing with life. One of my really good friends, I cannot wait to have her on the podcast, and I'm just giving her space, she's got a lot going on too. Blake Wexler will be back. He just filmed his special, so we're going to talk about that. Jacob Givens is going to be back. We're going to talk about the Temple of the Dads, which is our 90s cover band. I've been getting in a lot of conversations recently about comedy and doing comedy again. And I have to figure out a way to do it. But one of the gigs that was sort of on the table was a pretty big opportunity. And as you guys know, I have not been doing stand-up since the pandemic hit. And that is too long to not do stand-up. And the gig was too close for me to be prepared in time to do it justice. And I just didn't think that would be fair to the audience, which would have been a paying audience, and it would have been amazing. But, I just didn't want to go up and eat shit. And I don't really like... My material is untested post-pandemic. And this is what I've been thinking about, is now that I've waited this long, I don't even think it's worth bringing up anything about the pandemic anymore, which is really interesting because that was a 3-year block of time, a shared experience that, I would have hoped to get some material out of. I mean, it was It was, but it just, and I've watched everybody's specials, and there hasn't even really been great material about the pandemic by some of the best comics in the world. I think just people just don't want to talk about it or hear about it or think about it. And the fact that it's over, for all intents and purposes, COVID's not gone. It's still a disease we're going to have to live with forever. But you can't go anywhere. You can't go outside. You can't be with people. That's pretty much over. I still see a lot of people with masks, and, to each their own. But I no longer see the point unless you yourself are sick, have a cold or something. You don't want to give it to other people. But I think as a contagion, as a spreadable contagion, I don't think if you're the only one wearing a mask in the room, you're, maybe you're safer. What do I know? I'm no scientist. I'm no doctor. I'm no virologist. But it just seems the odds are not real great. The other thing that's been happening, along with all the rain, here I am complaining about rain, but good Lord, have you seen the snow that has piled up in California? And there's so much snow that ski resorts can't open because the roads are too treacherous. Who would have thought that getting 15 feet of snow would be a bad thing for a ski resort? But apparently it's not great if you can't get there and your staff can't drive there. You have to close. And, now it's melting and raining, and it's just, God, the weather is just crazy right now. Like, so weird for California. California's gotten, I think, more snow than Colorado this year. And that's just bizarre. It's bizarre to see the snowy mountains so close by. It's beautiful, really beautiful. I think there's a bunch of pictures of the snowy mountains behind the Hollywood sign. And, it's like nothing is certain, right? So nothing is guaranteed. Nothing is consistent. The world is chaos. And we're just hanging out with it for a little while, trying to do our best. So that's what I've been doing, is trying to hang in there. But there's just been a lot of administrative crap. Honestly, boring things. Boring things that just take up a lot of time and energy and brain power. And I think there's periods of time where you just have to get through that kind of stuff. And I'm in that period of time right now. So, but I do want to get back to the artistic endeavors. I miss it so desperately. I miss doing comedy. And I'm anxious to try again, to get back there. I do think it is kind of a restart. Maybe not completely from scratch, but in terms of knowing how to do it, those types of things that I don't have to relearn, obviously. That'll be like riding a bike, but the material takes a long time to hone, and I'm sad some of the material will just be gone. So I'm going to listen to some old tapes, old recordings, and see what I think, see what's salvageable. And it may, maybe I'll have a fresh take on some of it that I didn't explore before. So bringing an older mind to some of the material. I mean, some of it's, 10, 11 years old at this point, which, is a long time. You, in order for it to be fun to do, you have to really believe it, and you have to really feel it. And I might not feel it anymore. So we'll see. No promises, but I will let you know when I have a show. And maybe even, you guys can email me. Let me know. Maybe you got a show in your town, and if you want to petition a show in your town, maybe I'll come out there. So I'm getting back out there, traveling a bit, getting back on planes, returning to life as we knew it somewhat before. And it feels pretty good, honestly. It feels really good, actually, to be back out there. I think I talked about this, but if not, maybe the subject for next week. But I went to my first concert in a long time, since before the pandemic. I went to my first concert a few weeks ago, and it was incredible to be at a live show. Just incredible to feel the bass and scream and sing along. I saw, who cares? I'll talk about it now. I saw the Archers of Loaf, and one of my favorite bands from the 90s. They're all old men like me now, and they just crushed it. They played all my favorite songs. I was there with Jacob Givens and my amazing friend Laura, who I went to high school or I went to college with. We saw them, when we were in college. We saw Archers of Loaf, and to see them again with her was really special. And it was just, it was really fun, and it reminded me how much I love live music and that experience. And it was funny. I didn't really give any thought to COVID, being in that concert, and that was great. Such a great feeling to not be worried about it at all. There were people that were masked at the show, a few, but then like 3 days later, one of the guys that we went to the show with texted us, and he's like, "Hey, I got to tell you guys, I got COVID." And I was just like, man, it's still there. It's still the thought. It's still a thing. So, but generally it's fine. And I didn't get it, and my other friends didn't get it. So, it's just the way of the world now. So anyway, if you're questioning whether you should go back to concerts, go. If you're questioning whether you should get back to life, get back to life. And if you're just knee deep in administrative bullshit, just get through it. It'll be over soon. And you won't remember how annoying it was. You'll just be. So, thank you guys so much for listening. And the new listeners, I mean, I don't know what's going on, but I thank you for joining and for checking it out. And I will try to be better about getting you a show every week if I can, with guests when I can. And I'll try to be interesting. So, thank you guys so much for listening to Piece of Chaos. And until next time, be well.
I said to myself, this affair ain't never gonna go too well. But why should I try to resist when, baby, I know too well that I've got you under my skin. I'd sacrifice anything come what might for the sake of having you near, in spite of a warning voice that rings in the nights, repeats and repeats in my ear. Don't you know, little fool, you ain't never gonna win. Use your mentality. Wake up to reality. But each time I do, just the thought of you makes me used to be too wide.